Are you ready for an open discussion with the best of the best and the best of what's next? Welcome to the Tony DUrso Show. Join in on a great conversation today with some of the world's great influencers as they showcase great advice and techniques that made them the game changers they are today. Now, here's Tony DUrso.
Welcome and thanks for joining in with us. Today we're going to give you some pointers on money from a very unique perspective. Now, some of us think that money can actually be alive. Have you ever thought of it that way? You know, many of us spend our lives trying to figure out how to get more and more. I've seen this in others all my life. As we grow in wealth, we begin to think we need more and more money, and it almost seems to control us. It seems to take a life of its own sometimes. Does that resonate with you? Well, if not, either way, don't worry, because today we're going to simplify this to a very big deal. Now, that sounds like an oxymoron because we're going to simplify it to a great amount. So it's going to be a great simplification. I'm just being a little silly. We're going to teach you happy money healing with Ken Honda. Get ready to look at money like you may have never looked at it before. And while we're at it, this is all about helping you and your friends turn your vision into reality. We want to help you get very successful at growing your business to a high level, and we're going to help turn you into an elite entrepreneur. Meet Ken Honda. He's Japan's international best-selling author of Happy Money. Over 8 million books sold. It's the Japanese art of making peace with your money, and I think that says enough. Let's get into it and learn. Hi, Ken. Welcome to the Tony DUrso Show.
Hello, Tony. I'm so happy and honored to be on your show. I'm so excited.
The pleasure is all mine. And you know, Ken, I've been waiting for this interview. I'm so intrigued by the topic of healing from our money wounds and making our money happy. So let me kind of get this in my brain. Let's everyone start thinking about this. And I guess to kind of put it in the proper frame, how did it all start for you? What's your backstory?
So I was born into a unique family in Kobe, Japan. My father was a successful tax accountant, and he started teaching me about money when I was 5 or 6. He used to take me to the nearest shopping mall and ask me, like, which one makes the most money. So I said, like, fish market, and because it looks the busiest. But he said, good point. But look at the mattress store, the futon store, and also the real estate broker. You know, there's nobody there. But he says, if you're just making one sale of one bed, entire family can eat for a week. And if you can sell a house, entire family can eat for a few months. So even though you see nobody there, that doesn't mean that they're not making any money. So my father's teaching was like that. So I started learning about money very, very early on. So that's my first background.
That's really interesting. That who would have thought? I would have, of course, figured whichever has the most volume. But it's very interesting, and I can tell that your father has this business mind, and he's got the makings of an entrepreneur. I don't know what he did, but that's a very good point. But now from there, Ken, you went on and you have a business, a very successful business on helping people heal and get happy with money. How did that vision evolve?
Yeah, so after that, I started learning about money, and I did all the studies, and interesting thing kept happening. My father takes his clients on weekends. They visited us on holidays and Sundays. So I was the one who just served tea for my father's clients. And in the course of interacting with his clients, I realized that there are two kinds of clients, happy ones and not so happy ones. Because happy ones come in and say, hello, you know, he greets me. I was a young boy, but as he treated me like an adult. But unhappy ones are like always not in a good mood, look irritated, And he didn't even say hello to me because he literally ignored me. So I made up my mind. I want to learn more about the secret of money. And if I want to be a wealthy person, I want to be the happy one too. And I realized that there's about 10 or 20% of happy people among millionaires in life. So I started asking around my friends and my relatives, do you know any happy millionaires? So I did a lot of interviews. And in the course of researching on my own, I came up with these rules. And I started doing it, applying it for myself. So I could retire at the age 29 for my baby girl. Now she's 24, so I feel like it's a long time ago. But during the semi-retirement, I had this vision of writing a book, or booklet rather, on happiness and money. And I started giving away to my friends, and my friends loved it. So I printed, self-publishing, 3,000 copies and started giving away to my friends. And that got attention. And then a lot of people wanted a copy. And by the time I gave away 100,000 copies of my booklets for free, a publisher called me, and then the rest is history. I published so many books since then. It's about 20 years ago.
Absolutely amazing how many books you've sold. And I'm going to ask you a very interesting question because I feel that it's not about the money. A little bit of a pun. Why do you do what you do, Ken? What's your purpose for doing all this and helping others?
Yeah, so you talked about happy money healing. You know, that brings me back to my little bitter memory. So it's almost 40 some years ago. I think I was in a grade school. When I came back home one day, my father was crying like a baby. And he's a very tough guy, samurai type of person who just practiced karate and fencing and martial arts. So I thought until then, men are not capable of crying because I've never seen one before. But here they are, my father, who is the strongest man, I adore him, was crying. And my mother took me aside and then she told me that his best friend killed himself. And I was so shocked because I knew the person. And then not only he killed himself, before that, he killed the entire family of 4 and killed himself. That's called family suicide. You know, he was on the brink of bankruptcy. And my father was asked to give his best friend a loan, but he declined. He recommended bankruptcy because the money he loans to his best friend will go to the loan shark directly, and it's not going to serve the family. So he had the money. So after his bankruptcy, my father was thinking of giving the money to his best friend. But he's a Japanese guy who doesn't just talk much, so he didn't tell that beforehand. And he was devastated, and he was in charge of the funeral, and it was even on the newspaper at the time. So since then, we're just a happy family. We're singing, you know, we had a band as a family, and we are pretty well known, you know, in a small circle. But my father got depressed after that. And I really wanted to know, what is money? Because the money can kill the entire family. And also money seems to do a lot of fun things too. So I think at the age of 10, I set up for my quest for the secrets of money. And in the process, I needed a lot of healing because my father was abusive afterwards. And if you're brought up in an alcoholic or abusive family, you know what I'm talking about. And because of what happened to my family, I have this strong desire to support other people who are in need and who are suffering, even though they may have a lot of money. But if they don't have a peace of mind around money, they cannot feel peace of mind. So that's why I have this so much inspiration to write. So I don't have to work anymore, but inside there's so much power to share and so much so I can help others. And that's why I'm doing this in English, which is a little bit stretch for me. But I'm so honored to be able to do what I do.
Well, I appreciate it. And your English is very good and you come across very well. Such a strong, powerful, sad story. And as you were saying that, I just feel that empathy. I just feel that because I'm becoming more and more familiar with the Japanese culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. And I just love how they operated, the Japanese people in olden times, let's call it,
Mm-hmm.
years past. Those customs, though, a lot are still there. And I just think about it's the same with me. Before I was podcasting, money ran my life. If I had money, I was happy. If I paid
Mm-hmm.
off bills, I was happy. If I didn't have enough money, I was sad. It was just simply black and white like that. And money was running my life. And I totally, totally agree. And I could have used you years ago. And I'm so glad to help get this out because we need this. And so that's just absolutely amazing. And we're talking about happy money healing with Ken Honda, and you can find him at kenhonda.com. That's KenHonda.com, kenhonda.com. Hey, entrepreneur, let's take a break for something tasty. This spring, you need nutritious, convenient meals to energize you for the warmer, active days and keep you on track reaching your goals. So I'd like to tell you about what I use right now, Factor. Factor. It's America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, and it can help you really fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals and really tasty smoothies. I am serious. It's the best. I'm from Chicago, right? And these meals are delivered straight to your door. So you'll save time, eat well, and have plenty of time to tackle everything on your to-do list. So, you too busy to cook this spring? Don't worry about it. With Factor meals, you can skip the trip to the grocery store, skip all that chopping, prepping, and cleaning up. It's a lot of work sometimes. Us entrepreneurs and business people, we got to move fast sometimes. And what's important to know is Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. They're ready in just 2 minutes, believe it or not. Yeah, believe it. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy, and then go on back to the desk and work. Or go outside and soak up the warmer weather. And if you're looking for calorie-conscious options, try the delicious dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals that are plus or minus 550 calories per serving. And I'm serious, really, really tasty. And don't worry if you're on some special type diet, because you can get from keto to Calorie Smart, from vegan plus to veggie and protein plus, and all sorts of different options. And it's all prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. And I'm going to be a little bit silly. This meal is made by people that eat good food, because it's the tasty stuff. Each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day while you're busy at the computer meeting your goals. And there's over 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options. So there's always something new to try. And you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of over 45 add-ons, including breakfast items like egg bites, smoothies, they're so good, and so many other things. And the salmon is so delicious, you're going to love it. All right, so let's do this. Head to factormeals.com/Tony50 and use code Tony50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Tony50 at factormeals.com/Tony50 to get 50% off your first box. So let's spell that. factormeals.com/TONY5, 0. All right? Delicious quality meals ready to eat. What are you waiting for? Please make a note to do that today. Ken, let's get into the vision path here.
Yes.
We're entrepreneurs, we're business owners. We want to learn from you. You've got it down on money. You understand this. And the first thing, I'm going through your book here and I'm just kind of picking stuff. The first thing I want to understand is Can money itself be happy or not happy? Can we have such a thing as unhappy money?
Tony, you're asking such great questions. Thank you for that. So money is a neutral energy. So it doesn't have any will, it doesn't have any emotions by itself. But we project our emotions to money. So money can be a happy one, money can be an unhappy one, depending on how we feel about money. So my favorite question to all is, if money was a person, who would it be? For some people, money is a scary monster. For some others, money is a happy, gentle person who helps you. So money is neutral. That's my answer.
I've never looked at it that way. If money was a person, who would it be?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to think about that. Who would money be? Is a very good question. So we could have money be actually, I've never looked at it this way, but you can put a characteristic or a quality or an emotion into money and give it and personify it by that. All right. So while we ponder that and get our brains around that, Ken, another thing about money, which you talk about, is money moves in, let's call it a flow. If it's locked or stopped, or we put it away and we never look at it, it kind of seems to put the brakes on things. So let's talk about, is it a flow, and why, and what can we learn from you on that?
So there is a stock and flow of money. Stock meaning they could be, money can be transformed into, money is like chameleon. So money can be transformed into a building or iPhone or microphone and food. So the stock money gets in shape of an asset. It could be a car, it could be a house or other things. And the flow money literally flows into your life and out of your life. So some people want to have so much stock, but in fact, the real abundance is in the flow, and actually the healthy flow. So think of your life, take a look at your life as energy. If your life is full of love and generosity, money pours in by your clients saying, thank you, Tony, for doing a great show. This is a check we want to give you. And then money comes in with the energy of appreciation. If you're doing what you don't like, you get money like an alimony. Like I did this, I don't want it. So it's like a irritated energy is attached with money. So when you receive that kind of irritation in your house, you get frustrated with your kids, with the husbands and wives. And when you also spend money, pay the bills, you also get upset too. That's unhappy energy. So you have to be careful what kind of energy you put to money. Money can be happy energy, money can be unhappy energy. So if your money is full of unhappy energy, that irritates everybody. It could irritate your kids because he or she wants more allowance. and when you see the amount of bills, like it could be depressing for you. So instead of just feeling that, you can transform your relationship with money. That's what I teach.
I like that a lot. And when I have a bill to pay, and if I pay it, it's due, at the end of the month. But if I just pay it and just get it out of the way, I just feel so much better. And it's such a great feeling for me. I have a bill, I pay it. I hardly have any bills, just, utilities or, current, living expenses or whatever. But I just pay anything right away. And it just feels so good. It's like, but I never really thought of it as much and as well as you talk about a flow and give it more of a beingness. So I really like that. It's very interesting. And on that, and flipping through the book, one of the things I think ties into this is we can have different relationships with money. We talked a little bit about that, but you mentioned there's 3 important relationships that we can have. So can you tell us about that?
hmm I think are you talking about money being an enemy, money being a friend? Is that what it is? Okay. So, you can have any relationship, but basically, either these three relationships. One, you can become a slave to money. You do anything for money. You are just offering yourself to money. So you do anything for the job to bring food on the table. And the other one is you want to be the slave owner. You become the master of money. So you want to be a super wealthy person so you can boss around people. And the third relationship, which is ideal, is become a friend, actually the best friend with money. A best friend would do anything for you to make you happy. So if you want to go to a vacation, your friend would say, hey, Tony, where do you want to go? You want to go to Japan? Here's the deal. And then I'll take care of everything. And then when you look at your iPhone, all the itinerary is in. And so money can do that for you. So if you have a good relationship with money, money can be your best friend. And you don't have to be a billionaire or millionaire to become a best friend. You still need to have some budgeting to do. But still, if it's your best friend, he or she can say, okay, this month you may not be able to spend extra $1,000, but if you just save $300 or $500 for the next 2 months, you can spend it in 2 months. So your friend can actually sit down and talk about your debt situation, and then finally figure out the solution. So that's what best friends would do. So if your relationship with money is like that, you don't have to worry about life. You don't have to worry about so many other things, because a lot of stress is related with money.
Totally understand. And I've seen people, I think we've all seen people, especially even more, with money crunches or whatever bad words you want to say, money deficit, money debt. We're trying to control it. We're trying to grow it. We're trying to make it. It's this game. It's like this going down in a spiral. It's like just getting worse and worse. And yes, we need to be friends with money, but those are easy words to say. Can you give some techniques or tips on, okay, for those out there that may be struggling or having trouble, how can they turn this around?
My mentor, Wahei Takeda, who used to be called Warren Buffett of Japan, who was one time one of the wealthiest individuals in Japan, he said, he taught me the technique, arigato in, arigato out. That is, when you receive money, you can appreciate the money for coming into your life, and also appreciate the person who gave you the check. If you work for a company, appreciate the company to give you the job, because the money is given to you in exchange for what? They had the trust in you. They trusted that you would do a good job. That's why they chose you. If you're a coach, they could have chosen somebody else, but they chose you because they thought you're the best. So can you feel the appreciation? Wow, he trusted in me. She trusted in me. So for the money, you can appreciate the connection between the person. And also when you pay bills, when you spend money at the restaurant, you can smile and say, thank you so much for your service. And if you take a look at the bill, it could be an electricity bill for last month. Think of all the time, 30 days, you had electricity, you could use the internet, you can warm up your house, you can cook. And wow, that is like, when I just think of just burning woods, it's going to take a lot of work. But electricity is such a great thing. So once you appreciate about the electricity in your house, and even though you may be a little upset over the expensive bills, you can breathe in and say, thank you for all the work. And thank all the people who made it possible. Could be an electrician guy who did the wiring in front of your house, could be the power generator, could be a tanker operator who brought oil from the Middle East. So we are actually connected with so many people. Once we are in this appreciation mode, you cannot shift back to worries. So if you start worrying about money, focus your shift into appreciation. That is arigato in, arigato out.
I like that, being friends with money. Thank you for your service. You've done well. Okay, bye now. And then when new money comes in, hi, what's your name? I'm being a
Yes.
little silly. But
Yes, that's
hey, entrepreneur, I want to talk about something that's really important to a lot of us. Something so important it can really impact our growing our business if it's not done right. So please listen up. I'm going to talk to you about dating. Yeah, dating. And the most important thing about it is confidence. But you know, if you've struggled to find worthwhile connections, it can be really difficult to feel your best. It can be difficult to be your most confident when you're meeting new people. Understand that, been there, done that. So I want to talk to you about Tawkify, Tawkify. With Tawkify, you feel confident that you're meeting someone special who was picked just for you. And check this out. Tawkify is the country's #1 modern matchmaking service that's designed to help you, you, achieve relationship success. Their trusted compatibility specialists hand select successful and compelling candidates so that you can date consciously and productively. So here's how it works. The Tawkify matchmakers meet with you to learn about what you're looking for in a partner. Then they'll select and screen potential match candidates for you. They'll do background checks, video interviews, and they ask all the tough questions that are too awkward for first dates. That's amazing just in itself with what they do behind the scenes. And from there, your matchmaker plans your date introductions, they handle all the communications for you, and they create this safe, stress-free dating experience. Absolutely amazing. And they're committed to finding your match. Did you know 80% of clients met their person within the first 12 matches? So let's do this. And right now, Tawkify is offering our listeners 20% off when you become a client at Tawkify.com/Tony. That's Tawkify.com/TONY for 20% off when you become a client. Tawkify.com/Tony. One more time, Tawkify.com/TONY. Do this so that you can date consciously and productively.
that's the idea.
That kind of leads me to the next point in looking through your book. You talk about love, a relationship with money. And I got to ask you this, Ken. Can money really love you back?
So that is a good question. If you love money, since money can be transformed into so many different things as you wish, money can become love. Around Christmas time, on holiday time, you can express your love in a form of present. So you turn money into the present and then give it to your loved ones. So money can become love. And so if you wish it, money can become anything. Money can become an assassin, or like a hostile takeover, could literally kill people. So money, of course, can become love if you let money become love.
I like that. And Ken, we've heard this before, I think in the past somewhere. There's like somebody's like a magnet. Does loving money bring about this magnetism where money, there's some people, they just seem their money's always coming to them. Is that
Yes.
part of it? Is because they love money that it just attracts?
Yes, exactly. So some people are upset and just ask me, Ken, how come bad people become rich? Because money doesn't have any emotions or moral. So money gets attracted to the strongest energy. So if the bad guys have a huge love of money, money can be attracted to those people. But so because money is just simply energy. So even if you're a nice, generous person, if you have this shyness around money, and if you hesitate to ask, and if you have a hard time receiving, money cannot visit you. So money is just a neutral energy once again.
Okay, I'm thinking with that money's an energy. Now, the title of this episode, our interview, is Happy Money Healing. And I bet somebody sooner or later has come up with healing. Is money sick? Did it get hurt? Why do we have to heal our money? And did something happen to it?
just think of that, during holiday seasons. Can you remember happy memories and sad memories? I remember when I was 7, I wanted a mountain bike for my birthday. And my parents said, that's too expensive and also too early. And I got offended because I thought I was an adult, I was 7. So, but just right after that, I got into a bike accident and I cut myself severely. So they are right. I wasn't ready for a big mountain bike, but I got so hurt. The bike is too expensive. I'm not worthy for it. My parents had money, but still, the word that's too expensive for you, that really ripped my heart. And I'm sure he had this similar experiences that you didn't get the ideal present, or you wanted to go to a summer camp or a soccer ballet lessons, but your parents said that's expensive, or we don't have the money. So we've been denied so many times that what we wanted to do and what our friends all did were not permitted to us. And that really broke our heart. So that is, I call it money trauma. And because of that, we have this grudges. We have this bitter feelings around money. It's not money's fault, but we felt like because of money, I couldn't do it. And then even after 20 years, we have this grudges in our heart. Because of money, I cannot start my own business. Because of money, I cannot leave my job. Because of money, I have to do this with the job that I don't really like. So unless we heal our past pain around money and let go of the past traumas, we tend to get stuck in this because of money, I cannot do this syndrome. So we can go back to our childhood and just give our parents understandings. They were maybe younger than you are now. They're in their 20s and 30s. They didn't have money. They didn't know anything about the world. So they were as confused as everybody else. So can you at least understand them? And ideally, if you can forgive them for being ignorant about money. So that's how probably you can restore all the energy back from the past.
Ken, I'm sure that a majority of people will ring true with what I'm just about to say. In my childhood, I can't tell you how many times I heard, we don't have the money. We can't get it. The money's not there. We can't afford it. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. Yet, just saying that's happened in my childhood, or that's happened in my life, doesn't make it all go away, doesn't change the whole thing. So there's something more that needs to happen aside from, oh yeah, that happened to me too. We've talked about this quite a bit here in the show, but I'm looking for anything else to help us heal from that, because oh yeah, that happened to me, 2,365 times. I grew up, I know people that grew up with leaves on for shoes, tie leaves to their feet, but it never changed their mind in the future years, even though they knew that those were incorrect beliefs. So how do we help those people?
Yeah. So can you just go back to your past and embrace that scene that you were there and your kids are there, no, your parents are there. So when you go back to the scene and hug everybody in your heart, and once you can hug everybody in your heart and then understand why it happened and what happened, and give them the blessing from you. And so what's interesting is after a few imaginary healing in you, you begin to feel that it wasn't really your fault. So you are not worthy of the gifts. You took it for wrong. So maybe I'm worthy of something better in my life. So you feel like, every day you feel bigger, more together. And by just remembering what happened, sweet, bitter memories with your parents who may be already in heaven now, you can send them blessings. By doing that, you feel so together, because now I thought I was wrong and I was bad. I was a bad boy or bad girl. That's why I got punished. But no, it wasn't. I misunderstood the whole situation. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my parents' fault. It was what it is. But now I have the power to create my financial future, and it's in my hands. So you feel probably more powerful about the future creation at your will.
I see. And Ken, do you think that it all comes from when we were children and what we heard from our parents, or was there
Mhm.
something else that created this? I don't even know what to call it. This condition, this view
Yes.
of money, this craziness, this
Mhm.
there's this dearth. So
Mhm.
where did that come from?
I think it's still happening. Like last year, I've told my friends that you got to be careful with investing because the cryptocurrency was shooting up, and everybody was talking about it. And I told about the story that in 1929, the shoe shine boy asked a tip from a broker, and then he thought, oh, this is the end of the whole bubble. So that was last year. So when you just get too much excited about money and then lose it all, it creates another trauma. So it's not just your childhood. It could be last year, and it could be like ongoing trauma about losing things. So once you lose a chunk of money, or once you feel like you're betrayed or like you crashed because of money, you have to stop and think, is that money or is that my greed? It may be my greed who wants to just increase the amount of my net worth, and then it got crashed. So the whole thing is shifting your consciousness into, can I be satisfied with what I have instead of going more and growing more? So the whole planetary shift is happening. Instead of just growing more and getting more, we have to shift our consciousness into appreciating what we have. If otherwise, we'll run out of all the natural resources, and we'll be full of industrial waste. So I think now is really the time to slow down and look inside and seek for satisfaction inside. And I think that's what we're supposed to do instead of going after for more.
I really like that. Some great information here on money and taking care of money. Some happy money healing here with Ken Honda. Ken, really appreciate it. I think we've barely just touched, I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface. There's so much to talk about. We could do a whole series the whole year talking about money. There's so much more. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else in closing, but really appreciate that you spent this time, and I've learned a few things, and I sure hope my audience has as well.
Thank you so much, Tony. You are such a great interviewer, and you are so full of love, and I could really feel that. And you're such a big person. I think that's why your show is so popular and everybody loves you. So I just, at the end, I wanted to express my deepest appreciation for your talent, for your generosity, and for your heart. And I'm just sending all my love to the viewers and listeners. I wish all the great things happen to you.
Domo arigato to you. And I'm really
Arigato.
rusty on my Japanese. I'm going to pick up a little bit more on that. And again, Happy Money Healing with Ken Honda. You can find him at kenhonda.com. Ken, back to you. I appreciate you as a good professional friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll do more in Tokyo.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with me while I featured an elite entrepreneur who took his vision to reality. We talked about happy money healing with Ken Honda. We talked about so many great points on money. I love this topic. We talked about, well, what's the difference between happy money and unhappy money? Can money be unhappy? We talked about how money moves in a flow. When it's locked up or stopped up, it kind of seems almost to put the brakes on things. We talked about the different relationships that people can have with their money and how people, try to control money or be controlled by it instead of just being friends with money. Can you believe that? You can love money and money can love you back, and you can be appreciative of money because money can take on any qualities you want. We talked about characteristics and habits of people who are like money magnets, and we talked about healing your money and where money beliefs come from. There were so many things to talk about. We barely touched the surface. Let me ask you, what did we discuss that resonated with you? I sure hope we helped you with something. And please remember supporting the show with a nice review on Apple Podcasts. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please use this and let's help you move on your journey to success. Thanks, and remember, just take action. Success awaits those who persevere and remain steadfast despite the odds. Sow good seeds, do good deeds, and join me on the next episode of The Tony DUrso Show.